A grouping of students and parents from Stellenbosch University is set to approach the High Court in Cape Town for an urgent interdict to stop the university from closing the controversial men's residence, Wilgenhof. The group, called the Association for the Advancement of Wilgenhof Residents, say the closure is an unnecessary and a harmful disruption of the current students' accommodation, support structures and academic routine. The University Council decided to close the Wilgenhof residence for a year to revamp it into a renewed and reimagined space. The residents made headlines a few months ago after disturbing images and paraphernalia were found in locked rooms. Our reporter Vanessa Poonah and video journalist Clinton Cerf have more for us. A very good afternoon, Vanessa. Tell us more.
Yes, good afternoon to you. The Stellenbosch University Council sent out a statement late yesterday afternoon or early evening with the announcement that it has decided, after a process and after considering many submissions, that the Wilgenhof residence will be closed for the 2025 academic year. This, according to the university, to revamp and to renew the space into, and let me quote just here, into an area or a space where all students can thrive in a community that upholds the inclusivity, respect, excellence and all the values aligned to the university's Vision 2040. Now, of course, we know that the university and the Wilgenhof residence was cast into the spotlight earlier this year after it came to light that there had been alleged disciplinary processes, questionable practices happening at the residence. And of course, you've said there just now that we may even see this matter turn in the courts. That Association for the Advancement of Wilgenhof Residents will be going to court and they'll be seeking an urgent interdict. But let me bring in here a spokesperson for the grouping now, Nulin King Conradi. A very warm good afternoon to you. So, Nulani, sorry. So, of course, you've said to me just now that there's I suppose, a dissatisfaction from various sides and students and residents as well as parents about the university's decision to close the residence. Wilgenhof, it has a very, very long history to close that residence for the next academic year. Just explain to us what the feelings are among current students, past students and possibly parents.
Well, Vanessa, I can only speak on behalf of the current students and the parents, where we have formed the association that you referred to. And we were obviously very disappointed with the decision because we had hoped with all the submissions that we've made and which stated very clearly that the current students and the residents are very happy. It's a very positive environment for them, a very uplifting environment. So the students were, as expected, very disappointed and quite sad last night. This is going to be a very, it's going to have a very harmful effect on their student accommodation for next year. It's going to be disruptive to their academic routines, to their support structures that they have amongst the residents. And that is why the association is now preparing their court papers to have an interdict brought as soon as possible, as you mentioned. And so that is unfortunately what is now going to happen.
My question was going to be by which time frame are you looking at to bring that application? But I suppose, of course, it has to go through the legal route. So, will it still be in this week? Can we see your lawyers filing papers anytime soon?
Well, I think as soon as possible. I unfortunately can't put a date to that. That's up to the attorneys, but as soon as possible, yes.
Now, the university has indicated that any student who's currently studying at the university and to qualify for student residence will be accommodated at other residences on campus. Is this something that is welcomed? Students will still be accommodated on campus, or do you feel that this may not be enough? Because if the residence closes for next year. It will happen for a revamp, and it's set to reopen in 2026. So is a year for that process to happen unreasonable, do you think?
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting concept that they giving as a reason, because it seems like they're only going to redo the bathrooms. So closing a residence to just revamp the bathrooms, which apparently, as I understand it, was redone 2 years ago. So if you think of the reasons why this whole issue came about in the beginning of the year, now closing the residence apparently because of the revamping of the bathrooms, that in itself is very strange. And also, why do you have to close the full residence in order to do that? They've indicated that there's about 130 of the students that qualifies for readmittance to other residences. But I think that in itself is complicated, because if you can imagine the current first years that now suddenly you have to go into another residence with a different culture. How will they be accepted by the residences in those residents in those residences? They will never feel like they belong, and then have to go back to Wilgenhof and also, the new residents, because there will be no remnants of even the good parts of Wilgenhof.
And Nolani, I think let us wrap it up there. Of course, you've made your concerns clear in terms of the culture of the residents, etc., and also your concerns, and then also the fact that you will be heading off to court shortly. We're going to have to leave it there for now. Nolani King Conradi, thank you very much for your time. Of course, there you've heard it from the group of concerned students as well as parents on their view on the imminent closure of the Wilgenhof residence for the next academic year.
All right, Vanessa, thank you so much for that report. My colleague there, Vanessa Poonah.